welcome back to another vlog. I decided to put my hair in a ton of heat rollers compared to normally I do like a curling iron and then put it in a Velcro curler. I saw a video of mine like from 2 years ago and I was like, oh my gosh, my hair looks so good and bouncy. And so I watched that video back and I was like, oh, I used my heat rollers. So I decided to try it out again. It's definitely, I would say it's more time consuming. I just would need to get like more comfortable doing it. Like my hair is so thick that when I go to put the big like clips in, my hair kept on falling out. So it took me a minute, but I use, so this one's like super old, this Conair one. I've had it since like 2019. And then I got this one as well. And it has a lot smaller, more like narrow curls, like curlers. And so I have too much hair that like one only covers half of my head. So I have to use two heat roller curler station things. So this one, like this bigger one, I use for like all of my bottom layer. And then the small ones I use for like the top layers. So I thought while I'm sitting here, I would just start the vlog. Last week was my birthday, but I didn't spend it with like my family, like my mom and sister and stuff like that. So they're coming over today to celebrate. It is the most beautiful sunny spring day. It's only like 46 degrees, but it is like so sunny and beautiful. So I'm excited. I made this cake for myself, which you're probably like, wait, what? But my baby, I've talked about it a lot, has a food allergy. And so since he's been born, it's so funny. Like everyone's like, hey, like what cake can we make you? Or what cake do you want? And I'm like, I'll just bake everything because I feel so bad when we go to people's houses and we're eating this like yummy, delicious food and he can't eat anything like in a package. Like everything has to be fresh, homemade. And so I've just started like every single birthday, it doesn't matter whose it is, like barbecues, if we're having like family dinner, I'm like, I'll make pretty much everything and you guys just come, because I don't want it to be accessible that he can like grab off the counter because he's only 2. And I just want him to be able to like enjoy and have like, I'll make like popsicles in the summertime and I'll just make a ton so that when other kids come over, they can have some too, because he would just like look and be like, when he was like 1.5, and I'm like, okay, I need to start making everything fresh for him. So I do that now and it's great. So I'm making my cake and I'm really excited. It is supposed to be so good. So I went off of a recipe. This is what I always do. I went off of a recipe and then I kind of tweaked it to my own, but it's looks so good. It's just a classic vanilla cake, but it has like sour cream in it and it was like super fluffy and sweet and yummy. And then what I did is I decided to make some like strawberry, raspberry, almost like jam. I just did strawberry, raspberry, some sugar, some lemon, and then I like smashed that all up, got it to a really high heat for it to boil, and then I shut off and put in some cornstarch so it became like nice and thick, almost like a jam. And so I poured the cake and then I put it like in a spoon, like the jam, and I like kind of zigzagged it around. I'll have to show you guys like a picture. And we just baked it, and so it just came out of the oven and it's cooling. So I thought I would show you guys the rest. I just love a classic whipped cream, like a heavy whipping cream that I'll just make from scratch. I'm not like a huge frosting fan, but I love a good whipped cream. So we're gonna make some whipped cream, and I thought that we would do like cake, jam, or wait, we'll probably do cake, whipped cream, jam, and then cake, whipped cream, jam, and then maybe we'll put like some cute flowers or something. I don't know. I love doing stuff like that. So we're gonna go make my cake in a little bit, but I thought I would take my hair out now and we can see what the result is. Now I remember why I use hot curlers, especially if you have hair like me. My hair is very, very, very heavy, and so it just makes it where like it adds so much more bounce than a curling iron. I still love a curling iron. It's probably just like my favorite because it's the easiest and it's what I'm used to, but this just adds so much bounce. This is what the cake looks like. I thought we could do a little double moment. my neighbor has the most beautiful like little purple, just like wildflowers in her grass right now, and I'm thinking that it would be perfect. I don't know if that's weird, but I'm gonna go pick some. Look how pretty it is. It is the next morning. I just parked right now. I am in the city to meet with my garment technician because we are working on the summer collection now. I actually came last week for the first time for 2 sample fittings, and now we're still like working on the first sample. So I have like 2 sets that we're creating, so we're working on the tops right now, and then we'll start on the pants. But I just thought I would bring you guys along with me so you guys can kind of see like the behind the scene of building like the summer collection. Hiring a garment technician, somebody that knows how to actually construct garments, has been so helpful. So for one of the summer pieces, we're doing like 100% cotton. The video that you see, that's actually not the fabric that we're using. We're waiting to get our fabric sent from the manufacturer that we picked. It is so beautiful, but it's 100% cotton. So she's working with a cotton, and she's able to tell me like, this is where we need it tightened because cotton wrinkles more and it's less forgiving in some ways. It's a little bit stiffer versus like polyester, and we're able, like, she's just giving me so much knowledge, and we're able to like put our minds together where I can say like, I know what I want it to look like, so help me achieve that. And she is able to articulate it to my manufacturers so much better than I ever could. And so having her, like, if you see even with like Dairy Boy with like Paige Lorenz or anything, like she has her girl, what is her name? I don't remember, but anyway, she has like a garment technician in office, but it just makes the sampling process so much easier when you're having someone that communicates and speaks the same language as your manufacturer. So if you're starting like anything that has to do with like manufacturing and design, like either if you have an education in it or you're super knowledgeable in it, or like hiring someone will make your life so much easier. I showed you guys both from last week and this week. So we were working on like a red top, and then this week we were working on like the white cotton top, but I wanted just to put both in there so that you guys can see what we've been working on. So I have my mom watching Rome for about 30 more minutes. There's a Trader Joe's just right down the street, so I'm gonna go quickly grab a few snacks for Ava's school lunch, and then also get some fresh flowers for the week. It's so interesting because for me, like, I do like winter. I am an all 4 seasons person, but There is nothing better to me than the transition seasons. Like, I do like summer, I do like winter, but after like summer is so hot and I'm just like over it, because you're almost needing to be inside because it's 100 degrees and you have like a kid that you don't want to get heat stroke. You're like, okay, let's go inside, it's too hot. And then winter, you're like, okay, let's go inside, like a snowstorm's coming and it's 20 degrees. But something about the transition seasons, like fall is my favorite season ever, and I just love it so much. It gives me so much energy. But the older I get, I'm realizing that spring does that as well. And just like when I start to see leaves turn orange and like different colors, it makes me so excited. And now the older that I get, like I was walking to my appointment and I was just seeing like these blossom trees and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just love transition seasons so much. It's just that beautiful reminder and change that you need, and I love it. Like when I'm walking and I see like the little buds, it just makes me so happy. It's always the little things for me. It is the most beautiful sunny spring day and I'm so excited. I haven't like spoke to anybody about this really, or I haven't really shared it online, but I am taking Spanish classes. This is something that I have been wanting to do for so long, like so long. And I grew up, so I'm half Mexican and my mom is pretty much like full Irish. But I really resonate with my Mexican side a lot more than my mom's side of the family because they weren't really like present in our life. My grandparents came to the US out of like, I think like 8 siblings. My grandparents were the only parents that came here. And so Spanish was my dad's first language and then he learned English, but he never taught it to me really. Like my dad would speak to me in Spanish and he'd always call me like mija and like, you know, he would say like little things in the house, like for come and eat, like ven para comer. Like he would just always talk to me or say little things in Spanish to me, but he never fully like talked to me like in sentences throughout the whole day. And then in the summers, so my dad was deployed, my dad's in the military and he was deployed all in the 2000s because of the huge war. And so how my parents' divorce decree worked is I would go with my dad in the summer, and then in the school year I would be with my mom except for like holidays and stuff. And so what would happen is my dad would kind of be like, hey, like I'm in Afghanistan or Iraq or I'm in Cuba this year, so I'm gonna send you to Mexico and you're gonna stay with the family. I'd stay with my aunts and uncles, and then my grandma moved back there when I was in junior high, I think it was. Yeah. And so I would spend my summers in Mexico with all of my cousins. We have a huge family. And I remember like being so sad when I was younger because like in the summertime, that's when all of your friends are going to the pool and hanging out and 4th of July and like all those things. And I always had to go like with my dad and with my family. And my dad was always stationed in a different place. So I moved around a lot growing up. Like I've lived in Arizona and Kansas and Maryland. I spent a summer in Cuba because my dad does interrogating for the military. So I stayed in Guantanamo Bay for one summer. So I just have like kind of a unique childhood compared to a lot of people. But I feel like you guys kind of have to know like that backstory just to understand. But so when you're fully submersed in a different language and culture, I really picked up the language quickly. Like I would come back from the summer, like I remember there would be times like my cousins and I, we'd go get coffee and stuff and they'd be like, you just spent the whole day like speaking Spanish to us. Like I really picked it up quickly. So I can speak Spanish and I can like get by, but I never felt confident with it, and my family never corrected me. And now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, why did you guys never correct me? Because now I don't speak proper Spanish. Like, I am the definition of Spanglish, like, genuinely. And so I finally decided this year, for 2026, I made specific goals that have nothing to do with career, my family, social media, my clothing company, like just for me. And one of them was to get a Mexican speaking Spanish teacher, because there's a difference. If you look online and you try to find teachers, a lot of Spanish teachers are Spain Spanish, and I want to know Mexican Spanish. And even though it's the same, it's like the dialect is a little different. How they pronounce things is a little different. They have a different lisp. And yes, I want to know proper Mexican dialect Spanish. So I decided to take it upon myself. It was the funniest thing. My daughter, Ava, came back from school and she was like, I just love my Spanish teacher. She's from Mexico, and she always because I spoke Spanish to my daughter a little bit growing up, just pretty much like how my dad did. And so she's like, she always says like my pronunciation is so good and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, yeah, because you're Mexican. And it just was like a light bulb. I'm like, do you know if your teacher does like after school classes, or like if she teaches like outside of school, like does she want some extra money? And she's like, I don't know. So I was like, well, you ask her. So she went to school and asked her teacher, and her teacher was like, I would love to teach your mom. I can do it after school on 1 day a week for about an hour and a half. And so we got in contact. I explained to her, like, I have a little background, but I want to start from the beginning. I want to learn the actual pillars and all of the proper terms in the sense of vocabulary and pronouns and adjectives and nouns. And I'm like, I want to learn like from the ground up if I don't know anything, because I want to learn how to speak proper Spanish. So today's my first day, and I don't know why I'm really excited. Like, I'm somebody that loves to learn. I am somebody that likes to push myself and to make myself be in uncomfortable situations. And so that is what I'm doing. I know that learning a language at 33 will not be easy, but I am hoping by the time that I'm 35, so about 2 years of doing this, that I can be officially fluent. So yeah, I'm proud of myself. I don't know why. I just feel like I'm like, okay, I feel like you can make excuses, especially the older that you get. Like, oh, I don't speak Spanish. I see that a lot. Like, I don't speak Spanish because my dad and my parents never taught me, or whatever. And it's like, you do get to the age when you are older and you can decide, like, if it's something you want to learn, like, I can learn. So yeah, today is my first day. I'm really excited, but I thought I would just bring you guys with me for my lesson. So before I leave, let's say in Spanish, I think it's, hoy es mi primer día de clase de español. Today's my first day of Spanish class. Primos y primas y tías, tíos, mi abuelita, todo en México, nomás yo aquí.
I think that we should base that teaching you what you're gonna say in a completely grammatical perfection. So you're more of a novice high, which is like you have the knowledge, it's just your sentences are choppy because grammatically some of them are not correct.
Yes.
I change it to tiene.
Sí, yo tengo una hija y también un hijo.
Perfecto. You use a connector right there. So this is why you go to novice high, because también is a connector.
Okay.
So, right?
Because it's as well.
That's right.
Okay.
Also,
so yo tengo pelo negro, pero mi mamá tiene pelo rubio.
Yeah. So tienes would be you.